It's a great honor to introduce our honorable guest, Mr. Rohit Dhody. Sir has over to 18 years of experience in the industry, ranging from consulting to financial services, IT, and telecom. He has a degree in business management and a postgraduate diploma in management and is currently working at Syniverse Technologies as head HR for the Asia Pacific region. Prior to this, he worked at Entity Data as Senior Director, Global HR. In earlier assignments, Sir has worked as at Accenture as General Manager, Business HR, and at General Electric Money Servicing as Assistant Vice President HR, managing the recruitment, HR operations, and the CNB functions. His previous assignments were at HSBC EDPI as Manager HR and handled the recruitment and staffing functions and contributed towards HR operations and policies and procedures. Sir started his HR career at Mafwai Management Consultants. Mr. Dhody's experiences and learnings include overall HR experience in the areas of employee engagement, compensation and benefits, manpower planning and recruiting, HR operations and mergers and acquisitions. Handled assignments in IT, BPO and HR consulting environment. Now, I would like to invite Sir to share his experiences with the audience. Sir, the podium is all yours.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so a couple of things. I come from an environment. I'm tremendously underdressed today compared to y'all, right? Everyone's in business suits and jackets and formals, and here I am with my jeans and floaters and my linens. But I was wondering, how do I dress up, when I come here? And I realized that one of the things I need to represent to you is the way we go to work. So in a technology firm, this is how we go to work, right? So I'm wearing what I wear on Monday mornings, right? But then environments are different. In a consulting organization, it can be different. In a banking organization, it can be different. Just the overwhelm is too much because ever since I've entered the gate, everyone was so formally dressed and I was like, damn, I should have at least worn a blazer, right? But it is what it is, and bear with me. Very high intensity presentation, so I'll try to kind of, match up to the standards that my peer group has set here and enthralled y'all and shared knowledge with y'all. There's good news and bad news. The good news is I have a cough, a nasty, nasty cough, which means I'll talk less. I was wondering that, my introduction was probably longer than, what I'm going to really share here. But I'll try to keep it to the point. The bad news is that what between you and lunch is me. So I'll try to get me out of the equation as soon as I can, right? Right. So guys, I work in a company called Syniverse Technologies. Syniverse Technologies is a telecom company. We are a technology provider to mobile operators. So there are 1,000 mobile operators, 1,200 mobile operators in the world, thereabouts, give or take, depending on day-to-day mergers and acquisitions. This number changes. My organization works for almost 1,000 of those mobile operators, right? So there's a variety of services we perform, and I'd like to share some of that with you because when you're making a choice in telecom, some of these may be relevant. But industry, I notice here there's a cross-section of folks from marketing, HR, telecom. So I'm also going to share with you some insights about general industry, being corporate ready. It's very important to be, I'm amazed at the knowledge you'll have. Some of the questions y'all were asking, I was like, wow, I couldn't have thought of those questions. So you're already smart, you're already sharp, but what I really want to share with you is how ready are you for that campus interview? How ready are you for, do you know what companies are looking for? Right? And I want to share some of that, insight. I know a lot of the questions over here related around integrity, what should I do, what are the right things to do, how do I grow? So I'll talk about leadership, being a good corporate citizen. I'll share some insight around that. I'll talk to you about what generally works, what generally doesn't work in companies. And again, I'm taking my own experience from my 18 years. So whether it was in a telecom company or whether it was an HSBC bank or at GE where I worked, which is known for its systems and processes. So we will just go through all of that. You'll have to bear with this cough of mine, right? Which is why the students have been very kind and nice, and they've actually got me hot water. So I'll keep sipping on this, and what we'll do is we'll spend most of the time in question and answers, because I would like you all to ask me questions. I'm not going to give you stuff which you can get on Google or Wikipedia. I'm not going to talk to you about how big the telecom industry is, how many $1 billion it is, because all that data is available for you to read, right? I will share with you what I just said. But on that note, we'll start off on the presentation. So a little bit about the organization, right? Whoops. Yeah. I think I'll just use the... All right, so as an organization, Syniverse has 3 lines of businesses. We are on about 1,500 plus customers, and when I say 1,500 plus customers, it's not just mobile operators, but even enterprises. And there's a lot of 190 countries where we are present, but all of this with just 2,500 employees. So an organization that's a $1 billion company, with just 2,500 employees, because that's how hot this market is. That's how much margins a company can make in this space. And when I say how hot telecom is, I want to ask you a question, okay? There was a survey conducted recently. So the survey was, how long do you think it takes for a person to realize that his debit or credit card is missing? How long do you think it will take for you to realize that your debit or credit card is missing? There's a global average. Any guesses? Anybody? 4 hours. Any other guesses? 8 hours. You don't spend too much, do you? 1 hour a day. All right. So the global average is 45 minutes. The global average is, in 45 minutes, a person realizes that his debit or credit card is probably not with him. How long do you think it takes for you to realize your mobile phone is not with you? 20 seconds, 1 minute. Well, this study was conducted a year ago, and the global average was 3 minutes. Within 3 minutes, a person starts missing his or her mobile phone. Everything is happening on the handheld today. Everything. So when I talk to you saying that telecom is a good space to be in, this device, the phones are getting smarter, they're getting more interactive. Everything is happening on this phone. How many of you have WhatsApp? How many of you use the phone for Facebook? When is the last time you did a check-in to this place? Right? So, guys, what's happening here is your handheld is becoming everything. And who's making your handheld work? Mobile operators, right? And this industry is evolving. There's a whole new space emerging, which I'm going to talk to you about, which is called fraud protection, right? Companies like Syniverse make technology products to help mobile operators, but to also help enterprises, right? So I'll come to you that in a bit, but this is how important the mobile phone is. And there's a saying, in fact, there's a lot of analysts who say that telecom, especially wireless, especially mobile, is almost recession-proof. Almost. Whether you have a job or not, whether economies are hitting the roof or tanking almost, chances are that mobile usage patterns won't change. What is really the future, though, is not voice, but is data. I think all of you all have already heard or read about that, right? That the future is data, right? And I've already proved it to you, because you probably spend more time on FB and WhatsApp through your phone than talking on your phone. Is this right or wrong? So the future is data, not voice, right? A little about Syniverse. We work with Mobile operators, multi-service operators, enterprises, emerging mobile providers, over-the-top players, which is like your Facebooks and Skypes, right? And wireline operators. Headquartered in Tampa, but we have offices in Buenos Aires, Dubai, Hong Kong, and Luxembourg. We are owned by the Carlyle Group. Not that this should matter too much to you. Oops. I think I'll stop using this. I'll just stick to this one. Right. What are the ecosystem challenges in an organization like ours? And there are many organizations like ours, and some of you may probably be employed in some of these in future. Are maximizing your customer experiences, leveraging value in ecosystem, managing subscriber bandwidth usage, and benefiting from diverse partnerships. So there's a lot of partnerships which happen, and I'll talk to you about that as well. Some presence in terms of globally, how are we present, what are the mobile operators, which are the big names, and many of them are in India, and most of them are also scheduled to enter India, and we'll talk about that. This is in case you were ever considering why Syniverse or a mobile operator would consider us, is there's an end user and we have an ecosystem that we build around it. And I'm not going to spend too much time about Syniverse, because this is not a Syniverse marketing campaign. I'm not here to do campus interviews, right? I'm here to talk to you about what you need to know and want to understand from you, what you would like me to share with you in terms of what makes you what increases your employability quotient, right? Our tagline is, we make mobile work, and I'll leave it on this slide. I will now move to the real areas which I wanted to talk about, right? A lot of you all asked questions around leadership. A lot of you asked questions about integrity. What should I do when I enter a corporation? How many of you have worked before doing your post-graduation? Good. So some of you have working experience. You've actually worked in corporations. It's very good. So you probably have an edge of at least having that first-hand experience. But for those of you who have not worked before, right, there are a few basic things you need to do, and I know my previous speaker already spoke about it, so I don't want to repeat what you need to do. But I will talk to you about a concept of leadership, and there are many styles of leadership, right? The interesting thing about leadership is most styles get the job done, right? That's the interesting thing. Hitler was a leader, Gandhi was a leader as well. Both were pretty effective in their own way if you look at it, right? But you have to see which style you want to adopt, right? And here's where I want to share a concept with you which personally has worked for me, right? And this is a concept which is introduced by a very renowned and famous, gentleman called Javier Barr. Javier Barr has a tool called the Leadership Alignment Tool. It's called the LAT, right? And Javier Barr today runs a consulting firm called Possibilate Limited in the UK and the US. And I'll talk to you about this a little bit. So it's very important for each one of you, when you enter your jobs, when you're performing your roles, to ensure that you have belief, right? You need to have belief in what you're doing, right? Your belief has to be backed by intention, strong intention. Based on your belief and intention, you need to make a promise and then take action. So it's called the BIPA, and what I'm trying to tell you is, have clear belief. With clear belief, there has to be very, very strong intention. Based on your belief and intention, you make a promise. And when I say you make a promise, it's not a promise. It's, you make a statement, right? And based on that statement, you will be judged, and that's the action which you need to take, right? So if when is the last time you made a promise to someone? Just think about it. When is the last time? A promise can also be telling your friend, "Haan, bas tu chal, main aa raha hu, I'm coming." Or it can be telling your parents that next week I'm coming home, right? So when is the last time you made a promise? recently, a day, 2 days, right? Chances are. Now, where I'm going with this is, when you make promises, especially in corporations, now I bring it to the work environment, in a workplace, when you say something, it is a promise, right? You are leaders of tomorrow. You need to know that in workplaces, you need to be very careful about what you communicate, how you communicate. If you tell your colleagues, your peer group, you tell someone that I'm going to do this, that's a promise made, right? And credibility. I think the previous speaker also spoke about credibility, and credibility is something which once lost is not going to come back easy, right? So you have to have made that promise, with clear belief and intention. Do you truly ask yourself, do you truly believe you can do it? Do you really intend to? I'll give you an example of mine, and this is a personal example, right? That I once joined a company, Accenture, and day one, my team asked me, typical join a new company, they introduce you to your team. My team asked me, okay, what's your vision for us? You've joined us, you seem to have 14, 15 years experience. What's your vision for us? And this team was a bunch of freshers from college, some people with 2, 3 years experience, varied. And I made a promise. I was like, yeah, my vision is that we'll be the most respected HR team in Accenture. We will, win the Team of the Year award, blah, blah, blah. Made that promise. And how will we win it? I will work with each one of you. I will impart my knowledge, which I have gained over the last 14, 15 years. I will develop each one of you, yada, yada, yada. Looked amazing. End of that meeting, I think my whole team walked out thinking, wow, ye naya banda sahi hai. And that's exactly the feedback I got. But 6 months later, I was doing a review with one of my juniors. In fact, she was a fresher. Her name is Pooja. And she still continues to be a very good friend of mine and my largest critic till date. She said, you're such a bullshitter. I'm like, okay, where is this coming from? She said, yes, 6 months ago, when you joined, do you remember? You told us that you're going to groom us, mold us, teach us. We will be the best team in the company. Where are we? You haven't spent even an hour training us or teaching us something. And that's when I looked back and I used the same belief, intention, promise and action that obviously didn't culminate into action. And when I analyzed, there was misalignment in my belief and intention. Right? Back in time, my belief was, these are smart kids, they know everything. What will I teach them? My intention was only to look good. Day one, come and say something nice so that team loves you. They accept you immediately. So the belief was never that, yes, I truly want to, I can contribute to them. I can add value. The intention was never to really genuinely make them grow. Right? So obviously that promise which I made was broken. Think about it. Think about it in your own lives, personal or professional promises. Now when I've given you this example, think of one promise that you made to somebody. Either professional one or a personal one, to your mom, your dad, to somebody. Think about a broken promise that was not kept. And you know why it was not kept? Because there is problem in belief, there is problem in intention. The belief and intention are not aligned to that promise. Right? And in corporations, friends, once you enter the corporate world, everything you say and do is measured. Things you don't say also are measured. Now you'll ask me, things I don't say are measured? Yes, because in promises, there are explicit promises and implicit promises. What do you think is an implicit promise? Anybody? Guys, anybody? What is an implicit promise? An explicit promise is the one you make. What is an implicit promise? That comes, you don't have to say it, right? When you join a company, You don't make a promise that I'll be a very good employee, I'll work very hard. It's a given, right? Likewise, your boss doesn't come and tell you that I promise to be fair, I promise to treat you well. It's there. You go to a CEO's cabin, you probably find a vision statement outside. Have you been to a doctor's clinic that says, I promise to treat you well, I promise to give you the right medicine? No, right? But what happens when you go to a doctor's clinic, you take some medication and you don't get fixed? What do you do? What do you do? Change the doctor. Go to some other doctor. Why? Maybe it is your body. Maybe you didn't react to the medicine. But you change. You're right, you change. Because that implicit promise has been broken. Likewise, in corporations, in companies, it's very important to understand those explicit and implicit promises that we all make as part of our roles. You'll now say, I'm going to be just a fresher. But boss, as a fresher, you will make explicit promises. Your objectives, your goals are going to be your explicit promises. When you set objectives, when you set goals, when you set targets to do something, please think about what is your belief about it and what is your intention. Right? Don't do it for the sake of doing it. Do it because you truly believe. Do it because your intentions and your beliefs are aligned to each other. And when they are aligned, you will get coherence, you will get integrity. Someone spoke about integrity here. Right? So when these two are aligned, you will get integrity. And with that integrity, when you make a promise, when you make a statement in the corporate world, chances are that your actions will be positive. Chances are that those promises will get met. Right? So I'm giving you a concept today, a concept that I have started adopting ever since my colleague Pooja told me, you're a bullshitter. From that day, I started adopting this. And I don't say anything. I don't mean it. I don't say anything. Right? You rather not make a promise than make one and break it. Right? You will lose credibility. People will not trust you. Right? And you'll say, I'm a junior, someone in the organization. Every person counts. In organizations, people with integrity, who have that coherence, are the ones who rise. There are all kinds of people. Right? And it's like a car. I'll give you an example. This alignment, this belief, intention, promise, which I'm telling you, it's like, imagine there are 3 blocks. Right? If they are misaligned, those blocks will fall easily. Right? And alignment. One thing about alignment. How many of you own a 2-wheeler or a 4-wheeler? Or at least have driven one or ridden one or sat in one? Chances are everyone. We send the vehicles for alignment, right? Right? Wheel alignment, servicing. Do we just send it once and leave it? You have to do it regularly. So alignment is an ongoing process. To yourself also the same applies. Right? So it's very important. It's like a car. And then, you know what people will experience of you as an aligned person or a misaligned person. Right? It's like a car. Right? And both will get the job done, by the way. So I'm not trying to say that if your beliefs and intentions are not aligned to your statements or commitments, that you're a bad person or you won't get the job done. Job may still get done. Job may still get done. It's like a car. You have a car which has a lousy engine, misaligned, wheels, and it has to go from your college to the airport. On the other side, you have a car which has a smooth engine, aligned wheels, and has to go to the airport. And you're sitting in, which car will you want to sit in? The aligned one, right? Why? Both will take you. Both will take you to the airport, guaranteed. Why do you want to sit in the aligned one? Because the experience will be better. When you are an aligned person, your colleagues, your bosses will experience you better. You will be that aligned car. Everybody wants to travel in the aligned car. Remember that. Be that aligned car. Both will take you to the airport, but you want to go in the one that gives you a better experience. right? So that's one thing about corporations that you should know. That's one thing about, when you enter, and this applies to your career throughout. This is not just entering into the corporation first few years or later. Even today I practice it after 18 years experience, and I'm sure this will stay with me forever. So I'm just sharing a concept with you all which I think works. Lots of my colleagues know it works. Most people I've discussed this with say it works. So I'm sharing with you all because you need to know that credibility can go very easily. And in large organizations or small organizations, once credibility is gone, that's it. It's going to be very, very, very difficult to regain that credibility. So, people should know you for who you are and the fact that you have integrity, you have credibility, and you're serious about what you're doing. Right? Another thing I'll share with you, there are various concepts. People say 3 C's, 4 C's, the 5 M's of marketing and all of that. I personally feel, to be successful in your job, I believe in the 5P principle. Prior, planning, right? So you have proper planning provides for proper productive work. Plan well. You have to plan well. When you join organizations, I've seen a lot of people struggle from campus to corporate because in campuses, if an assignment has to be rushed in last minute, it probably still works. When you're in a corporate, there is no last minute. And if there is last minute work, it will be seen. It will be noticed. Right? You will be found wanting. So plan, preparation is all. Prepare well. My previous speaker had a great example of the table, right? Measure once, measure twice, measure 10 times, but cut once. Because once it's cut, it's cut. Prepare. What it means is prepare well, plan well, be organized. People in corporations who succeed are the ones who are more organized. The less organized people struggle. Be organized, be prepared. I spoke to you about your promises. Be very cautious about what you're saying, how you're saying, who you're saying it to. Every organization has a culture. I would request you that as you now move into your future, you should quickly understand the culture of a company. And this is one mistake I've seen so many freshers make. After 2-3 years, they realize. People tend to go for brand names. If I ask you what kind of a company you want to work for, let's just do this test right now. I'll pick somebody. What kind of a company do you want to work for? Yeah. Give me a brand name. Which is your dream brand? Tata's. Why? Ethics and culture. Brilliant. Someone from here. Why don't you tell me? Give me a brand name. Infi. Why? Enhance my profile. I will grow. Okay, let's get someone from the back. Some of the ladies. So why don't you tell me, ma'am? Okay, everyone's looking at the back. So why don't just someone? Anyone from the group there? Any company? Why don't you tell me which company you would like to work for? Yeah. Dell. Why Dell? Work culture. From the row up there. Which company would you like to work for? I'm asking you. Yes?
BMW.
BMW. Why?
Because automobiles are my passion.
Because automobile is your passion. I really like that answer a lot. Because automobile is his passion. You know what? All of you all have very right reasons, by the way. Did you notice one thing? All of you all said names of some fabulous and famous companies. Did anyone say that I want to work for this company because their stock price is X? Because they have so many million revenue? Because they have this many thousand employees? Those are all facts. But none of you all said that. You all touched on cultural aspects of companies. You want to work for a company because of the culture of that company. And please, like I said, this alignment of belief and intention. क्यों sir?
They all go for one place where there is money. सब नकली ये लग रहा है.
No, so, and I think that's a very valid comment, that I want to go whoever gives me the best package in campus. Whoever offers me that XYZ salary, I'll go for that company. And probably that's how you want to make a start, and most freshers make that start that way. But do evaluate the culture of the company, and do evaluate if you're comfortable with that culture, please. Every company has a culture. Facebook has one culture, Google has one culture, IBM has another culture. Google and IBM have very different cultures. Microsoft has another culture. You have to evaluate if you are comfortable with that culture. Because what will happen is, for the sake of the brand and for the sake of that X rupee value that that offer gives you, you will join. But within a year or two, you will realize that that is not you. You have to be comfortable there. You have to want to work in that kind of an environment. So please spend time. You guys do so much of research. All your questions were so amazing. You had all the data and all the facts. Please read up on culture of companies. Please speak to your seniors, your alum, network well, but get to know about culture of companies. I am currently dealing with an issue where I have 14 BITS Pilani freshers in my company. 3 of them don't want to be there. Because they walked in thinking, they did a project in Microsoft where they wore shorts and floaters to work. Right? Where they sat on beanbags and worked. They liked it. I appreciate it. They expect the same. And they came and told me, Rohit, you know what? I want to finish this project and I want to get rolled off because somewhere I don't resonate with this, with the culture of this company. Oh, fine. I completely respect that. Because you need to work in a place where you're comfortable, because after a point of time, that salary will stop being the differentiator. In your first job, when you leave campus, probably that salary will be the considering factor, but very, very soon, 3,000 or 5,000 plus or minus a month will stop making a difference. What will make a difference is, do I like this company? Do I like what its values are? Do I like what it stands for? And does it align with me? If I like a place which gives you a lot of freedom, a lot of space, then don't go join a company which has a very strict protocol. There are companies which will have very strict protocols and some which will be relaxed. Then I think you should be choosing the one which is a little more relaxed. If you're an extremely process-oriented person, don't go join a company which is very flexible. Because you'll want process and structure all the time, and the company will be very open and you'll miss that structure. So choose the environment very, very wisely, folks. Choose your environment wisely. Choose, where you want to be. And I know it's easy for me to say it here. You'll say, you can just come and say, don't think about the money, but that makes a difference. Yes, money does make a difference, but sometimes you're okay to take the second best offer or second best option if that's the right thing for you. Right? I'm an HR guy, so I kind of evaluate these things a lot, and I know it makes a difference. Right? The last thing, I said I will keep this short, and personally I'm also a little bit struggling with my throat, and I'd like you all to ask questions. The last thing I'll share is, be photo ready. I have this concept saying, be photo ready. That photo ready is when you should always be ready to a point where if someone says, come, I'm going to take a picture of yours, you should not say, wait, I need to do up my hair. No, be photo ready. Likewise, on your job, be photo ready. Tomorrow when you go in for that campus interview, be cutting edge, be ready, be there. Research well, know well, prepare well. I spoke to you about preparation. Right? And be ready. When you go into that campus interview, companies are looking for attitude, not content. Let me share that with you. If I as an HR manager come in to recruit in campus, knowledge I can give you, attitude I can't. Right? If you think I'll go into an interview and tell telecom is this many billion, so many hundred people, that many operators, and that HR guy is going to get impressed. Sorry. It's good to know, you should know. I'm not saying you should go in and say, I don't know anything. No, you should know, but what you should really focus on is communication, personality, confidence, right? And I'm sure many speakers said the same things. I'm sure I'm not saying something for the first time to you all. Communication, confidence, your personality, your demeanor, everything should come together at the same time. Remember folks, I do this for a living. An interview probably lasts 1 hour. In 1 hour, there's a selection process, or rather we call it the rejection process. You put people through a funnel and you bring it down to the final 3 or final 4. If you want to choose 2 people, you'll bring to final 5 and have a final detailed interaction with those 5 people and make offers to 2, if that's how you want to do it. Out of a full batch, you'll boil down to 2. When it comes to that final 5, when the rejection process is over, that's a filtration. There'll be group discussions, there'll be this, there'll be that, and it'll come down to the final 5. When it comes down there, it is all what I said. Your personality, your communication, your knowledge, all of it coming together. Right? Your behavioral competencies will be evaluated more than your technical competencies. What is a behavioral competency? A behavioral competency is a combination of skill, knowledge, and experience. You put these 3 things together, it becomes a behavioral competency. Right? So that is what people are evaluating. How's this person? Flexible? Not. Is the person sharp? Not. Decision making skills? Yes, no. Right? So this is what you need to focus on, and that's what I will leave with you, because I'm sharing tips now from the other side of the fence, saying as an HR person, when I come in to recruit with my technical panel, the technical panel is just going to see technically knows the basics, because every company will train you guys. If you think you know it all, you know the base level. College prepares you for base level. Once you move out of academics, every organization has organization-specific training. If you're an engineer and you've done C, C++, guess what? That same technology is used differently in different companies. Methodologies will be different for projects. So, prepare well, be there, be photo ready. This is what I mean when I say be photo ready. Always, and at any time, see, once you're in a company, you're expected to always be photo ready, because at any point of time, any assignment can come to you and you'll have to deliver. In an organization, you can't say, no, but in the beginning of the year, this was not set as my goal, so I'm not going to do it. It doesn't work like that. It's very dynamic. Goals change. Goalposts change. Right? So that's what I leave you guys with. From my side, I'm done. If you have questions,